I think we are live now. Can you hear me, Amit?
Yes, I can hear you, Sanjeev.
Awesome. So, congratulations to you, and I also passed the AWS DevOps Engineer Professional certification today. So both of us passed this exam in the last 2 or 3 days, and I thought maybe we should share it with our audience. Some of our friends have been watching us practice on YouTube. So how we passed the exam, what were some of the learnings that we had. So I thought we'll quickly share in a short video. Especially we did not use any paid course for this one. So people who are like working professionals don't have enough time to spend 60, 70 hours on a course, how they can take benefit. So we'll quickly go into like what worked for us. So what we did was a lot of practice exams upfront. So we used online resources and YouTube, and there are a few recordings on our YouTube channel as well. We did these practice exams, practice questions. This helped us understand the kind of complexity in the exam, and also our readiness for the exam, helped us identify key topics. So how useful was this, Amit?
I I
Doing
think
practice exams first and not doing any course material.
it worked for us good because we were able to identify the areas which needs more focus. So we only focused on those areas. Like for example, when we went through these practice tests, I think we divided the questions by subdomains. Like, we want to do CI/CD, or we want to do auto scaling groups, or we want to deployment strategies and things like that. Once we did that, we understood that which area we are lacking, and then we focused on those areas little more than the other areas. For example, we were not that good at how deployment strategy will work for different auto scaling groups, um, and how migrations and rollbacks will be successful with those settings. So we just kept reading those questions and getting relevant information from them to reach to a conclusion and understanding about that functionality. So I think practice test isolated the areas and then we focused on them. So I think we worked from backwards instead of
Right.
in a sequential manner.
Very useful for, as I mentioned earlier, like working professionals don't want to spend so much hours on a specific Udemy course or any other paid course for this. And since you are already working, I assume anyone attempting AWS DevOps professional exam might have some basic understanding, or might also have the associate architect level certification in hand. So uh, yeah, we used practice exams to finalize these subjects. We finalized on CI/CD pipelines using code build and code deploy. A lot of focus on code deploy, different deployment strategies used. A lot of focus on CloudFormation usage. A lot of focus on blue-green deployments using Elastic Beanstalk, and the auto scaling group. How you can scale the application in a dynamic environment. So these are the areas we finalized upon, and then we did some hands-on. We went through the screens in the AWS console, looked at different options available, practiced a few areas, because a lot of we had some experience of using Jenkins and Azure DevOps, but not so much in the AWS DevOps services. So we just got some understanding of these services. If you have experience on any of the CI/CD platform, you can very easily relate to them. And those are the questions that show up in the exam.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is like, I think the most important thing is like, how do you have the stamina to go through this big, long exam, reading so many questions? I think it's a big reading exercise, actually. Uh, it's a big reading exercise. You have to be patient enough to just read and process. And so I would say what I did in last leg of my exam is like, I took like 25 chunks of 25 questions and try to do them at one go, and then wait for 5-10 minutes and attempt another 25 and another 25,
Right.
like break it up in three parts and then do it. And try not to just stuck in circles. For me, what worked is like, I just kept answering the questions and never get back to them. I have not left one question for reviewing. It's like
Right.
continuously you just keep going, and just believe on your instinctive information coming in.
Right.
That's how I proceeded. Otherwise, you just stuck in circles and get tired.
Yep. And for like, just like any AWS exam, a lot of focus on keyword identification. So you identify the right keywords in the question, what the objective behind that question is. There will be a lot of noise in the questions and in the options as well. Sometimes you have to ignore that bit. So if there is a reference to, say, zero touch deployment, then you know that something in blue green deployments is likely to be there. So similar sort of question. So you get to identify those specific keywords and then answer based on that. Otherwise, these are, as Amit mentioned, this very long exam. And
Yeah. And I also felt the practice exams we did, somehow they were actually harder than actually the real exam was.
yeah,
I encountered a lot of questions in real exam which were like not too long, like many questions which were just couple of lines, and then four options which are also not too wordy. So I felt like in practice exams there are a lot of questions which were scenario based and pretty big to read. But in real exam it was not like that.
right, right. Some of the questions were pretty small and medium size as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
And what another thing that I used, like, just to get an idea of like not doing the entire 70 hours course, there is a short program on AWS Skill Builder website. The link is here. You can Google it as well. It has an overview of the exam, and the instructor also gives some very important tips how to pass the exam. So you can refer that. It will not take more than an hour or so. And then again, there are a few practice questions in there as well, and which are of the level of the actual exam level questions. So you can use that, relevant for pretty much all AWS certifications, free of cost. Yep, I think that's a short live session that we wanted to do. And yeah, we'll continue on other exams. There will be a lot of live sessions, practice sessions on our YouTube channel. You guys can stay around.
Yeah, sounds good. That's
All right.
great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Bye.